You made a song and it resonated not only in the ears, but also in the soul. Not only did you see through the veils that everyone else was seeing through, but you shouted out loud the unknown truth. You sensed the changes, the inconsistencies, and the cracks that were forming beneath the surface before anyone else could sense the danger. This was not a simple hunch. It was as if you were reading the entire script before the first act had even begun. They laughed at you. They ridiculed you. "This will never happen," they insisted. But you were not following a prophecy. You were just reporting what you saw. You noticed the first drop of rain before the storm broke. People continued to close their eyes to the coming collapse. The more they turned a blind eye, the deeper the cracks became. After a while, the same people who had scorned you began to talk anxiously among themselves. They finally recognized the first signs of the inevitable end. Before I go any further, I have a question for you. If this message resonated with you, and you think it is for you, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Your power lay in speaking the truth through music. When your song was heard in every corner of the country, it touched the hearts of the people, not only with its melody, but also with its warning. At that point, one by one, the voices saying, "This will never happen," fell silent. And now, in the midst of this strange silence, you are the chosen ones who see the truth in all its nakedness. Whatever happens, keep seeing, because your music and your foresight are enough to illuminate an entire future. People who claim to have everything under control are suddenly running around. The same people who said you were crazy were now clinging to explanations to dispel this image. But that is what happened. You had already seen every action before they did it, and everything was as it seemed. The one thing they never wanted to admit, the one thing they never imagined they would have to face, is now staring them in the face, and it makes them uncomfortable and uneasy. You were right, and they were blind. They can no longer bear the terrible weight of knowledge. They cannot decide whether they should be afraid of you, angry with you, or convinced that it was all a coincidence. But in their hearts, they know better. Click the Super Thank button and donate $50 or more to access exclusive insights and discover your divine mission. This is not just a gift, it is a declaration. Take the first step towards your future. You did not guess. You did not guess. You were aware of it, and that scares them. The giggles, jeers, and eye rolls that ensue when they declare you wrong are caught on tape. They persist in statements, letters, and the lingering effects of their own arrogance. There is no need to persuade or force someone to listen. Once you have spoken, time will do the rest. All warnings, predictions, and forecasts are time-stamped. They brushed your words aside as noise, ignored you, and pretended not to hear you. But the truth has a way of coming to light, and when it does, there is nowhere to go. Now they are facing the truth. The same conditions that you warned about are happening. Your sense of betrayal has been exposed. The collapse you predicted is happening now. If you believe in God and you are ready to meet the glorious future that He has prepared for you, write 11. There is no way they can escape it. The fabric of time carries your proof. Now they are going back and reviewing their own past and hoping that they made it up. But your words, clear, unambiguous, and indisputable, still stand. And this is consuming them. What they have said cannot be taken back. What you have said cannot be taken back. They cannot control the past because it is tangible and embedded in reality. You are here for a reason. If you feel chosen, it is time to answer the call. By clicking the Join button, you can access deep insights, unique information, and a powerful community willing to accompany you on your journey. This is an opportunity to fully embrace your divine destiny and seize the path designed for you. It is more than just a membership. Don't hesitate. Step forward and become one of the chosen ones. It can be found in recorded encounters, old conversations, and private confessions that they never believed would matter. But now, They are important. What is the worst thing? The burden of self-denial, the memory of being laughed at. They believed you were being ridiculous, and they were sure of it, until they were sure you weren't. These days, the ego feels like it is being sliced at every reminder. The fact that you saw it coming and they didn't see you coming becomes more and more obvious with every second that passes. When they believed they were right, they spoke loudly, rolling their eyes, shouting that you were ignorant and with the assurance of someone who believed they would never get caught. However, the arrogant have been humbled by reality. Their voices are no longer so loud. Their grand pronouncements have been carefully rewritten, and their assurances have given way to uncertainty. They believe that if they make a small change in the past and in their words, they can erase their doubts about you. But the past cannot be erased like a blackboard. It is written in memory and etched in time. Too many people remember it, which is much worse for them. Then small changes begin, not completely. They never said it was wrong. They just didn't know. They were just playing devil's advocate. They never made fun of you. They were just being skeptical. They were not attacking you. But no matter how meticulously they rewrite their story, the truth does not change. Before they were sure that you were wrong, that they were right, that nothing would happen as you predicted. Now they are frantically trying to shift the blame, pretending that they have been neutral all this time and that they could have foreseen it themselves. But there are too many eyes on them to lie, and the truth is too heavy to ignore. And it is too late. Everyone will remember, even you. They lit the match confidently, expecting to see you burn. They stirred the pot just enough to keep the chaos going, and whispered lies into the right ears. Once they were convinced you couldn't escape, they set the traps, built the stage, and then relaxed. The flames were already at their feet, but fire is fickle. They did not know that their own game would turn against them. They never imagined that the lies would become more persistent. They believed that their manipulations would be flawless, that they could control the narrative and that their flying monkeys would maintain the illusion. However, they failed to see the magnitude of their own dishonesty. Cracks appeared one after another. They began to doubt the people they were using as pawns. Their connections began to fall apart. Now they are being betrayed by the same people who eagerly joined in their plans, and they realize that they were, in fact, just parts of a bigger game that they could never control. Write the number 22 in the comments to let the cosmos know you're ready. And what about you? You never had to fight. You watched helplessly as they destroyed themselves, consuming everything they had built with their own fire. The problem with deception is that it can never be sustained. People who believe they are in control end up drowning under the weight of that destruction when it finally falls on them. They are convinced that they are pulling all the appropriate strings and that they are the puppeteers. But as the stage collapses, no one is there to help them. They are no longer believed. No one trusts them anymore. Worse, no one is coming forward to put out the fire. They tried to hide the truth, but today the truth speaks louder than their lies. Leave a note saying, "I own the narrative." They were too busy observing, researching, and imitating you. They believed that if they could learn your secret, they could copy your talent. All they wanted was to steal, never to learn. But they failed to realize that your energy was never theirs. The more they observed, the more they slipped. The more they tried to connect with yours, the more they drifted away from their own essence. They tried to talk like you, walk like you, and radiate the same effortless energy. However, in the process of imitating others, they lost themselves. It all started with small adjustments, a restlessness they could not understand, an uneasiness they could not shake. At first, they were not aware of how their admiration for you got out of control, and how they started losing their own course. They have no idea where they are today. Their old identity is blurred, and the path they were supposed to take is no longer there. They can't get the power they are trying to get. They believed that by following you, they would become stronger. Instead, they are hollowed out. Even though they absorb so much of your being, your movement and your essence, none of it was theirs. And now they are in the mess they created for themselves, lost and in need of guidance. And what's the worst thing? You don't even turn around. Something that was never meant for them was what they were chasing after. And what about you? You have continued to move, to change and to rise. And now, too late, they see that your path was never their path. They will never be able to go back. They have tried everything, including sabotage, whispers, traps set in plain sight, and curses spoken in the dark. They wanted to destroy you, humiliate you, and make you forget. They convinced themselves that if they hit you hard enough, you would fall under the force of their blows. But you did not fall. Every plan, every insidious scheme, every invisible hand pulling the strings in the background, none of them succeeded. They waited for the day you would lose, the moment you would crumble. But that day never came. They keep going round and round because nothing they have tried has worked. No matter what they threw at you, you could not break. Nothing they touched could destroy you. They saw you go unharmed, untouched by gossip, untouched by betrayal, untouched by things that should have destroyed you. And what about this? This is what drives them crazy. They cannot describe it. They cannot understand it. You are exempt from every rule they believe in and every law they think they understand. They believed they were powerful. They believed they could control the world with their strategy and their connections and their cunning. But they didn't count on one thing: divine protection. And now that every attack they launch has come full circle, they are afraid. Afraid of you, afraid of what it means that you are still alive, and afraid of what awaits them. It is no coincidence that you are here. If you feel the pull and know deep down that you have been chosen, this is your time. Click the Super Thank button and donate $100 or more to access additional in-depth information, unique material, and a course in alignment with your divine destiny. This is not just a contribution. It is a declaration and a step towards becoming the person you are destined to be. Accept the call. Join us as we walk and truly embrace your destiny. Your adventure has just begun. They cannot relax, sleep, or avoid the consequences of their own behavior. Because the moment they realized that they could never touch you, a deeper fear began to creep in. They would suffer the consequences, and there was nothing they could do to stop them. They believed that every trick, every smear campaign, and every whispered truth would destroy you. They spent endless efforts to create an ideal website, a website just for you. But they ignored the fact that it never belonged to you. They owned the site. It's also getting tighter. They are setting traps and closing them one by one, but not around you, around them. The drama they instigate, the betrayals they encourage, and the destruction they plan come full circle before they can escape it. Moreover, it is difficult to ignore the flaws around them. Family disputes, the same people who supported them before, are now turning against them. They oppose the murmurings they themselves started. Loyalty is replaced by paranoia. They are also losing money because they are spending more overtime than they anticipated to destroy you. Every plan fails before it starts. Every investment fails, and every opportunity dries up. Betrayals. The people who used to be there for them are no more. Those loyal friends, they have disappeared. They painfully realize that they are now the targets of the same deception they used against others. They are now frantic to reverse what they started, to regain control and eliminate the backlash. But it is too late. All exits are blocked. No one will save them. No one will be able to clean up the disaster they have created. This disaster, they built it themselves, and all they can do is sit in the rubble. They didn't participate in the attacks. They didn't set traps or spread misinformation. No, they just observed. They chose to remain neutral and watch the chaos, acting as if it had nothing to do with them. They ignored when you spoke. They ignored your warning to them. But now they remember. They now understand every word you say, every example you try to explain what is going on, and every fact they would rather ignore because it is easier to join the majority. This is also frustrating. They mentally relive the past, review the things they used to laugh at, and realize that you didn't achieve anything. You didn't exaggerate or hallucinate. They were right behind you. And what about this? This is the reason why they feel uneasy. Because it shows that you are seeing things that others cannot see. It shows that you are aware of the patterns before they happen. It shows that you are aware of the outcome while others are standing there dumbfounded. And they cannot let go of this awareness. So they remain silent as they observe, as they analyze, as they sit with the uneasy awareness that they are ignoring the one person who sees everything clearly. They refuse to accept that they need to listen, and they don't voice it. However, you can feel it in their vigor and see it in their hesitation. Silent observers have witnessed the truth and cannot refuse it. The truth, they say, will set you free, but most people cannot handle it. They have said that you are nothing, that they have the upper hand and they are finished with you. But they can't come back. They are constantly monitoring your pages, hiding from fake accounts, following your every move and asking casual questions about you in return while remaining indifferent. But they are betrayed by their actions. They need to know if you succeeded. Are you broken by the turmoil they have caused? Shaken by their betrayals? Did you finally collapse under the weight of their sabotage? But the answer: they perished while you are still standing tall. More than that, you are succeeding. Unaffected by the confusion they have created or the obsession they still harbor, you go on. And it's eating them up too, because as soon as they realized they couldn't break you, they started looking for another excuse to stick to you. In the beginning, the goal was to win, to see if you faint or not. But when you didn't, this obsession became stronger. Now, they are looking for something else, like a vulnerability, a chink in your armor, or a reason why they didn't succeed. Because if they can't hurt you, they can learn from you. They can learn how you were able to escape all the traps. Maybe, just maybe, you are the solution to the problem they have created for themselves. But you don't even give them credit. And that's what really destroys people. Because of their greatest fear? Because in the beginning, you weren't interested enough to play their game. They have gone to great lengths to control the narrative, to cherry-pick falsehoods, to influence perception and distort reality to suit their purposes. They were sure that only their version of events would matter. However, you cannot hide the truth forever. Slowly at first, ambiguity began to seep into the thoughts of the same people they believed they kept under lock and key. A word here, a sideways glance there, a change of tone, a reluctance in their once loyal followers. They feel it, the slow, painful collapse of the facade they have so carefully cultivated. And they have no control over it. They are now being spoken against by the same tongues that used to protect them. The same people who collaborated before are now pulling back because they feel uneasy and don't want to be victims of a game that was never theirs in the first place. What are their options? Nothing. They try to reinterpret and spin the past and convince others that nothing happened, that they never lied and never did what they swore they would never do. But reality is crashing down on them and drowning out all their justifications, because too many people are aware of it. And what scares them the most? The truth is no longer in their control. And what about you? You don't even have to speak. The truth speaks for itself. How others now see them. Different, suspicious, skeptical, and quietly aware that everything they believe and stand for is wrong is proof of that. They are in a desperate hurry to put out the flames and hide the truth before it spreads any further. But it is too late. The story is no longer theirs. No matter how hard they try to limit the damage, they will never get it back. Desperately, they wait for a post, A word, a response, anything. They want proof that they still exist in your thoughts and that they still have emotional control. For a long time, they tried to manipulate you, bait you, and do their best to get you to respond. But you have not responded. You don't stand up for yourself. The wrongs have not been righted by you. You deny them the satisfaction of knowing if their behavior has any impact on you. And what about this? That's why they are falling apart. Because by remaining silent, you are not giving in. This is not a loss. It's a strength. You don't make a statement. You don't investigate rumors. Their game is not being played by you. You don't have to. But what about them? They were the ones who wanted the world to watch. They were the ones who made up stories, caused mayhem, and frantically sought attention. They wanted attention, and they wanted the story to center on them. But now they are burning alive in this spotlight. They are still spreading lies. But what difference does it make? No one is standing up to them on your behalf. No one is taking the initiative to argue, to clear your reputation, or to convince the world of your innocence. Because you don't need them. The proof is your silence. Because if the accused person refuses to even acknowledge the accusations, what does that mean? If the person they are trying to destroy goes on his way without even turning around, that says it all. It says you are untouchable. He says you are superior to them. It implies that whatever they do is not enough to bother you. And that's the truth. That's why they are dying. Because now they are cursed by the very attention they were looking for before. Emotions, turmoil, validation. They wanted to be noticed, but not in this way. They were hoping for a response, not this silence. Now they are losing, but they wanted to keep control. And what about you? Without saying a word, you witness their disintegration. They feel something has changed. It was not necessary for you to speak, to seek revenge, or to make them realize the truth. They are witnessing it themselves, the consequences of their own deception, the weight of their own actions, and the irreversible shift in power. It is not possible for them to ignore it. You made the call. You saw it before anything was revealed. They are better informed. They act differently too. They lose their self-confidence when they talk about you. They use a measured language. They speak in a cautious tone. Although they believe themselves to be untouchable, they have discovered that you are someone who cannot be influenced. What about you? You go ahead. They didn't build it. You built it. They fell apart. You changed. They went into a spiral. They're living in a mess of their own making. And there's no redemption story. No chance to undo what they've done. They are now responsible for the consequences of their decisions. What is the hardest part? Realizing that things will never be the same again. You will never again be unaware of their motives. They won't be able to reach you the way they used to. The door is closed and they are on the other side, observing your success, observing your inaction, observing the reflections of their own behavior. They also want to break you to pieces. Instead, they have broken themselves. So, this is the new normal. And what about you? No doubt you are impenetrable and unforgettable. And what about them? The only thing they are is a cautionary tale. If someone questioned you, what would you tell them? Tell them below. Click the subscribe button to stay in touch and be part of a community that values self-acceptance, healing, and moving forward. Donate to support us by clicking the Super Thank button below. Share, like, and leave a comment with someone who needs to hear this. Every share, like, and comment makes a big difference in getting the word out to the people who need it most. Let's keep moving forward together because you deserve to be surrounded by positive people, not negative ones. See you at the next one. May you be blessed.